Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System 22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, this is a similar one to yesterday. We got a hero section here. As you can see, it's got some sort of color writing and a little button there. When I hover over it, that black and white image in the background is going to slowly fade into full color. That's not affecting the texture of the button there. When we take the mouse back off again, it's going to fade back into black and white. Really striking little effect. And this was requested by a gentleman named Paul. We've done this before with Divi 4, but here it is with Divi 5. It's really easy to do, so let's get started. I've got this page open in the Divi builder here. Let's go down and delete this and we'll start from scratch. We've got a regular new page here with the Divi builder. As usual, it puts in a section for you and wants us to put in a row. I'm going to use a row with a single column. Now you can put anything in here you want. I'm going to keep this fairly simple by using a heading module and perhaps a button underneath it. Let's say huge hero title. Obviously whatever you want to put on yours, you can link it if you want to. I'm going to go over to my design and the heading text there. As it's the main page title, H1's okay. If it's further down, you want it to be an H2 or an H3. Font I'm going to use today is a blocky one called Anton, and similarly to Divi 4, if you actually click on the font, it'll bring up a list. There's plenty to choose from up here. Just roll over, it'll give you an example up there. Like I say, I'm going to use my Anton today. I want to make sure it's capitalized. I'm going to pop it in the middle. I'll leave the color as is for a moment. We'll change that in a while. I'm going to make it very big. I'm going to make mine 150 pixels. And we could even bold it up, perhaps a little bit more. Let's make it, well, try semi-bold. I think that'll work. I'm going to give mine a little glow in the background with a bit of text shadow here. I'm actually going to use the default light blue color down here. That'll give it kind of glow in the background there. Okay, let's throw a little button in. Like I say, you can have as much or as little content as you want in yours. Let's say start today. Whatever it is you want to say, obviously. And we'll just pop the button in the middle, over in design, alignment. And we'll style it slightly. Use custom styles for the button. Background, well, let's use that same light blue color, perhaps. We'll turn the background text white. I think I'll capitalize it also. By default, it's got a little border around it. I'm going to roll down. I'm going to add a little bit of box shadows to the button itself. We'll just use that one. And I'll use that same crazy color. Great. I think I'm going to take the opacity of that button down a little bit. Back in the button background here. Let's take it down to perhaps 60%. When we put the image behind, we'll see a little bit of the image behind there. Fantastic. Okay, what I'm going to do now, and this is pretty important you do it in this sequence, because I'm going to be using what they call a backdrop filter to affect the background image and not affect any of the coloring on the outside here. So I'm going to go into the column that our modules are sitting in. At the moment we're in the button, so I can either go back, it'll take us to the column, or you can just click on the column right here. I'm going to give my column a minimum height. I want mine to be maybe 70% of the screen height on all devices. I'm going to use minimum because we've got big text here. So on smaller devices, it can break and get taller than that if it needs to. We can do that in design. Remember, we're in the column. This is really important. We're going to go down to sizing, roll down to minimum height. I'm going to type in 70 viewable height, VH. That way, it'll be a minimum of 70% for the viewable height of any screen they're looking at it on. Now I want my content sort of in the middle right here. So still in the column, I'm just going to roll up a little bit to layout. It should be set to flex. It is. I'm just going to go down to justify content to pop it in the middle. Perfect. Okay, now that we've got everything where we want it, let's put the image we want to use behind it. We're not going to use the column for this. We're actually going to use the row that the column's sitting in. So again, you can either hit the back arrow, it'll take you to the row, or click on the row link up there. Background's always under content. So we'll go down to background. Remember, we're putting this image in the row, not the column. Third tab along, background image. Throw in whatever crazy image you want. I think that's the one we used last time. That's great. But I want it to be full width. I don't want any gap top and bottom as it's the hero section. But anybody that doesn't know how to do that, over in design, remember we're still in the row here. We'll close up layout. Here's sizing again. Width. We just need to type 100 in there. It's already set to percentage on the right there. Max width, we want to type 100 and the percent sign in here, because by default it's set to pixels. Perfect. Okay, now we want to get rid of these gaps at the top and the bottom. As you can see when I hover over, that's padding in the section itself, the blue tab here. So if we just click on that, in design, you'll always find padding under spacing here. Just put a 0 where it says top there. Hit the chain, it'll do the bottom for us. Now that we haven't got a white background, I'm going to go into my hero text there and turn it into a white color. I didn't do it before because it would have disappeared into that white background there. Great. And of course, again, if you want a bit of that image showing through, you can just pull the opacity down a little bit for effect. I like it nice and bright there. Okay. Well, you saw what we wanted to do. We want to turn this background image into black and white or grayscale. And when they hover over it, we want to bring in these vivid colors right here. Now, a very, very simple way of doing this that is not going to quite achieve what I want would be to go into the row or section. Let's go into the row, and you could go down to filters. If we roll down, you'll find one called saturation right there. If I pull that all the way left, everything's going to go black and white. And then you could go up here to where there's a little computer icon, left click, hit the hover icon, and bring it back to 100%. You can fine tune with the little arrows there. But unfortunately, that really doesn't do what I want because it's taking the color away from the button and the hero text. If I just flip that back to desktop now, as you can see, everything's gone black and white. If that's what you want, that's absolutely fine. Just leave it like that. But like I say, I want to keep the color for the content there. So let's just fix this. I'm going to put that saturation back to 100. Just hit that little reset field. Great. I'm actually going to use a bit of code. I'm going to use code. I'm going to put it in the column itself. We're in the row at the moment. I need to be in the column. If you're in the row, you can find the column by going to Content, Elements. There's the column. Let's just click on that. Now that we're in the column, I'm going to go over to the Advanced. I'm going to write a little bit of custom CSS. And don't panic, it's only a couple of lines. In the main element, just to reiterate, I've gone down to CSS. We're not on the freeform, that's where it'll be by default. I've gone over to module elements here and we're going down to the main element. Now I'm going to use a bit of CSS called backdrop filter for this. With Divi 4, it used to throw up a little flag. It would work, but it would flag it as it didn't recognize it. In Divi 5, I think they fixed that. So we'll say backdrop, B-A-C-K-D-R-O-P, dash, filter, no gaps, colon, and the filter we want to use. We've showed you blur before. Today we're going to use grayscale. That's G-R-A-Y-S-C-A-L-E. No gap at the end. We want to open some round brackets. As you can see, that's actually turned it grey, and we've still got our color with our button and our little hero title here. Now grayscale goes from 0 to 1, or you can use a percentage, which would be 0% to 100%. If I was to put a 0 in there, grayscale 0 would be full color. And this is what I want when they hover over it. So I'm going to change that to a 1. That'll take that color away again. I'm going to copy this from the backdrop to the end of the 1 there. Control C to copy. We're going to go up here like we did before to the little computer icon. Go down to hover. I'm going to paste this in there. When they hover over it, I want it to be full color, so we just need to change that 1 to a 0. Perfect. Now, once you add a hover effect, we mention this often, you want to make sure that you switch back from hover mode to desktop mode. If you don't, any edits you make in hover mode will only happen in hover mode. I've been caught myself with that before. So make sure you change back to desktop mode. Now, at the moment, it's going to happen pretty much instantly when they hover over it. I want to slow it down for a bit of grace. I like mine to be quite gradual. So add another line, we need to put a little semicolon. After our last line of code, I'm going to use transition duration, TRANSITION, dash duration. No gaps anywhere. I'm going to put a colon and the amount of time that we want it to take to go between hover and regular state. I'm going to use a long one. I'm actually going to use 1.2 seconds, 1.2s. Obviously adjust yours to taste. And for anybody, I know there's a lot of people averse to using CSS. I'll copy this and put it down below. It's very easy. And you can just copy the top part and change it to a 0 for your hover effect. Now, if we've done everything correctly now, this should work for us. So let's save the draft. And we'll preview. Let's close down this preview. Make sure we've got a fresh preview coming. And here we have it. As you can see, it's black and white initially. We still got the color on our text and button there. When I hover over, it's taking 1.2 seconds to come into full color right there. If I take my mouse off, it'll take 1.2 seconds to fade back to full grayscale. Very simple, but very effective effect there. Like I say, you can do it without code with the filters, but that will take your color away from the foreground. Using backdrop filters, pretty handy little trick to know. So I hope that's answered that question. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. We've been using the Divi 5 theme for this today. It'll work exactly the same in the Divi 4 theme. As we get closer and closer to the Divi 5 final release, it's in the beta stage at the moment, I'll be doing more and more videos with that. But if you have any questions either about Divi 4 or Divi 5, pop them down below. I'll be happy to answer them if I can, or make a little demo video just like this one. So once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and WebDesignAndTechTips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.